It is October 31st, 2025. Happy Halloween, everybody. Happy Halloween to my future family. And, in honor of Sam Hain, I find it prudent to consider greater traditions, my Irish brothers and sisters. See, what am I thinking about today? How am I feeling today? What am I feeling? What am I thinking? What was I thinking about today? I was thinking about the people I love, thinking about how grateful I feel. Today, the vibes are really good in the world, really good out there. People are singing, people are happy. Arizona's really cooling off finally. There's a lot of really dark stuff happening, but at the same time, there's a lot of really beautiful things happening. So it's important to remember that for all the negative things that we see in the news, there's 10 beautiful things that are happening in silence. I've been really drawn to nature lately, been feeling really connected and feeling really elevated. I've been having a really hard time bringing people into my life lately, and that's because it feels like I'm just elevating right now in a crazy way. Been spending a lot of time with my kids, which has been really fun. It's so fun to watch them grow up and become who they are. I went down yesterday and brought my grandma some flowers. My mom's mom. I don't know how much longer she's going to be with us, so I wanted to spend some time with her. This time of the year definitely makes you reflect on life and the thin veil between life and death. I've always felt really powerfully about things, and I've always felt very connected, even when I didn't have the words or the practice or the tradition or the knowledge to understand what I felt. I've always understood a deep knowing of who I am and what I mean, and how to connect to source. It's really powerful. It's a powerful knowledge to have. And people get so caught up in religion. People think that there's one tradition, one righteous way to do things, and it's so silly. It's like thinking there's only one path up a mountain. There's infinite paths, and you can crisscross, and you can go down and go backwards. You can do whatever you want, but the path up to enlightenment is a path you must climb every day. Every day you might have to climb enlightenment, and then in the morning you have to start all over again. And some of the paths are well worn. Some of the paths are trails being blazed. But there is no wrong way, as long as you're working towards a better self and seeking to serve. One of the hard things about elevating is because you push so many people out of your life so quickly, you can really feel abandoned. And I'm such an intense person. I think sometimes people have a hard time being around me because I'm just so intense about everything. But I can't really help that. That's just who I am. I feel very powerful in who I am and really happy with who I am, even though there are things that I can clearly see I need to work on. I'm really proud of myself and some of the things I've accomplished this year. Like, for the first time in 20 years, I quit smoking weed, which is pretty amazing accomplishment. And honestly, I haven't really looked back. Like, I still have gummies and stuff, but I haven't even taken those in weeks. I've just been feeling like I don't really need it. Like, I've been really processing difficult emotions lately. Doing these little videos has been kind of like a little therapy session for me, a way for me to vent and just stream of thought, stream of consciousness, just let things out. It's been really helpful. Hopefully these things might be helpful to some other people someday as well. But if not, whatever. It's good for me. I really don't care if people watch these or not. More importantly, they're for my future family, kids, grandkids, friends, family, anybody who wants to come visit with me from this time. I'm here. Sometimes I feel like really like isolated, like I failed, like I'm this huge failure, like I'm so far behind. But I think the truth and probably more likely situation is that I'm super far ahead. And I'm so far ahead that I feel like I'm behind because there's nobody else up here with me. And not like super successful in business or, um, like outward success. It feels like much more inner success. Like I've learned so much, I've grown so much. um, you know the certain way that God speaks to me, it's just a language that's very easy for me to digest and understand now. I have these incredible signs come to me through God and through the nature and through the universe, and it's not scary, it's not weird. Everything feels very on point. Everything feels very like, yeah, duh, of course, matter of fact. um, and I just, I've had a really long arching evolution as a person, and it just feels good to maybe recognize a little bit that I'm actually, pretty far ahead of where I think I am. And life is happening all around. It's beautiful. Not fighting the stream, not fighting the current, just letting life flow naturally. It's a wonderful thing. It's very counterintuitive when you're someone like me who's always tried to control everything. And you know control is something I think that really like my family, my biological family, really struggles with it. People try to control this and control that, and very few people are willing to let things just happen as they're meant to happen. Just something I've struggled with a lot in my life is needing to control things, and every time I've tried to control and force things have always gone poorly. So that's been a lesson that I've been learning a lot lately, and trusting in people, trusting in my friends, even when they don't do things the way that I do things, just trying to trust that they're going to show up when I need them to. And, it's an important thing when you feel like you are abandoned or you don't have anybody, when no one's showing up for you. It's important for you to then turn around and go show up for someone else. Nothing will uplift you and bring that positive energy back into your life like showing up for other people. It's really important. And in this time, in this country, we need it more than ever. We need each other so badly. Um, there's a lot of really wild shit happening in our country right now. Thinking about the government, thinking about all the Christian nationalism, all the racism, all the outward, explicit racism, and all the gaslighting, acting like they aren't who they say they are. And I feel like the veil is just falling and people are having a really hard time being lied to. I think people are really starting to wake up finally, which is really nice. Like when you've been as awake for as long as I have, and you've just been trying to teach people and bring people to the light, and people just don't want to listen and don't want to learn and just want to stay in their closed-minded spaces. It's really helpful to see how the destruction of the veil of you know all the ways that white supremacy and Christian nationalism have hid as undercurrents in our country, they're really becoming very obvious now, very prevalent. People are seeing, you know, it's really hard to align yourself with some of these politicians without being explicitly racist. And people are having to choose sides. And it's a little bit scary, but it's also really important for us as a country to wake up to experience what the black and brown communities have understood this whole time. And I really struggle with the Hispanic community. Like, I don't understand how any Hispanic can look at what's happening with immigration and feel good about it and be happy about it and vote for the destruction of immigrant families. Like, I can't understand. I cannot understand how people think like that. Like, and I grew up in a white family, and I should by all means be brainwashed like that, but like, I have lived as a colored person, so I know what racism is. I know what it feels like to be othered, even when you're one of the good ones. Like, I know these things super well, so I can't understand how, these people try to align themselves with whiteness, thinking that they're going to get a leg up because they are a good boy, but they're just going to be the next one to go. And I think people are starting to see that finally. Unfortunately, people really live in their echo chambers. Like, Fox News is one of the most despicable propaganda machines I've ever witnessed. CNN's and all the Democratic leaning, bias leaning, media outlets aren't too much better, but at least they try to hold some facts. Whereas with Fox News and um, some of the other ones, I forget what they're called. Fox News and Breitbart and some of these other media journalists, they're just propaganda machines, and they're just twisting up the conservative base, like twisting these people up. Like, it's so weird to watch it happening and think, like, how can you let these people just lie to your face? Just lie, 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 lie. And I think that finally people are starting to recognize, like, oh, they actually are lying. Oh, they actually are full of shit. Oh, actually, they're tearing our country apart even worse. They just blame the Democrats, Democrat this, Democrat that. It's like, how? Why is a blue-haired, non-binary barista destroying our country? Why and how? Like, what are you even talking about? Um, you know what like, they use this veil of Christianity, but it's bigotry. It's so weird to watch women support these Christian fundamentalists when they're literally voting against their own rights. But I'm hoping that this disconnect is going to wake up more people than it's going to, because eventually the people's reality is coming crashing down. I mean, right now with the food stamp problem, and our economy is slowing down really badly. Like, businesses are really struggling. People aren't spending money like they used to. The price of everything is going up. I think hopefully people are becoming hip to just how insane uh, things are in the government. Um, and some of the really darkest aspects of society are coming to light, especially the child predation and the racism. But man, there's so many people that abuse children. It's like, if we can't galvanize around this, like, what will we galvanize around? If we can't protect our kids, I mean, what are we doing? Like, as a society, what are we doing? It's hard to witness. Yet at the same time, you can't just stare at all that stuff. Like, you can't just focus on the evil. You have to pay attention enough to know what's going on, but then also look at, solutions. Like, how do we move forward? How do I keep my heart light, and where's the fun and where's the joy? And actually, one of the things I started to do recently is I started to keep a little note in my phone of all the beautiful things I see. Every time I see something beautiful or amazing or something that gets me emotional, something really good, I write it down. And I just go back and look through it sometimes, and some of those things will make you cry, man. There's so much amazing, wonderful heart and soul in our world. um, people dancing, people showing up for kids, people in just so much. I don't even want to get into it. It would be a whole other thing, but there's a lot of beauty in this world worth fighting for. There's a lot of really good in people that's being lifted out, I think. We just have to keep fighting, keep growing, keep tapping into that deep knowing of the true self. When I was younger and I had my big like spiritual awakening, my like early 20s, um, first time I ever took mushrooms, it just blew me wide open, like just completely changed the way I lived. And at that same time, I was like, learning about manifesting and learning about, I read, the Da Vinci Code, and I read The Alchemist and some of these like Celestine Prophecy and some of these really amazing books that my mom sent me, incredible books that really opened my mind. And then I had this insane psilocybin trip out at Fort Fisher in North Carolina, and you get to see the fractals and the ocean. I got to see the trees and walk amongst the trees and recognize and see, like, you understand, like the veil of self really falls, and you have this bit of an ego death, and you're like, wow, like I'm really one with everything. Like there is no real separation between me and nature. And that is what the God experience is. It's a oneness, it's a one collective consciousness. And a cool thing about now is, like, for a long time with that, like it was something that I understood intuitively, something I felt, but it was really hard to quantify and explain. And now, with the quantum science and the theory of quantum consciousness and all these things, science is finally starting to catch up and give a vocabulary to explain things that I deeply felt, but now can um, uh, explain to other people and relay the information in a way that people can digest it a little bit better. So it's really cool to like feel things, like understanding that we're all connected and we all have one collective consciousness that we all connect to, and then to see it actually play out years, like 15, 16, 17 years later, seeing it really manifest and seeing people really starting to understand it, and hearing people parrot these things that I have known for so long, but to hear other people say it is so powerful. And, you know, when there's so much fear and darkness being added to the great, collective consciousness, it's really important to add love and to add peace and a deep, courage and strength. And so when you build those things within yourself, you are also passing them to the rest of humanity. You connect deeply to the universe, and the universe, takes your frequency and it amplifies it, and it adds it to everything. So, you can really change a lot of things by even just meditating, just by sitting at a park, feeling love, smiling at a random stranger, giving healing love and energy to animals and insects, and, you know, not killing things, when your first instinct is to kill a bug or whatever, throw them outside, let their life continue, just showing a deep respect for the world, for the great consciousness of everything, because it abides in everything. It's in everything, not just life, but in inanimate things, and it's all this unifying field of energy. So I just thought it's been really cool to see how, people are really starting to understand and connect to that more. And even though things seem really, really dark right now in the world, and there is a lot of really terrible things happening, like I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but there's also an opportunity and a chance for us to finally step out of the darkness and illuminate and heal and fight this darkness, fight these beings that are trying to control everything. Like, I'm not even certain that they're human beings anymore that are trying to control everything. Some dark entities, some multidimensional beings. It's hard to really even say. There's so much information out there. It's hard to keep track of everything. And just recently, I started a knowledge chain, a YouTube playlist of many videos that just help open your mind and call attention to things. And some of it might be conspiracy stuff. Some of the stuff might, be a little bit over your head. But at some point, when people want it, I'll start sharing this knowledge chain for people who want to awaken even more, who feel ready. So yeah, I think that's all I have for right now. But I'm going to take a couple days off from doing this. It's the weekend, so Quinn will be here, and it's hard for me to record when she's sleeping in here. So I'm going to take a couple days off from doing this, experience life, be present with all the things happening this weekend, and get back to it when I can. But as always, I love you all. I appreciate you all. Keep fighting the good fight. Peace.